marijuana.
What's this party stuff?
This is for the dirt roads thing.
Oh,
Where's George?
He's up working in the park.
yeah, he's a part.
He's weeding.
No, do not, oh, I thought you were gonna text him. I thought
What did I miss?
you were gonna text George. I was like, no.
No, the sleeping bear.
Party? Oh my God, you're for Carol.
Have you opened the meeting yet?
Yes, we're open. Are we being recorded?
Yes.
Yes. Sign this, pass it around.
School, I gotta sign in.
Contact information for us, like. Who wants to come in? Someone? No. I just let you. James?
Somebody's listening.
Somebody's always listening, TJ.
Oh, big brother is alive and well.
Yep. All right. No meeting minutes from before. Audience participation,
Many.
seeing none. Come on down, Dave.
Oh, not too much going on today. But, so I submitted two payments for, Beach Hill Road
Okay,
Bridge. They didn't like that we paid more money than usual ahead of schedule.
okay.
So anyway,
All right.
so anyway, I have an amendment here for it. You just need to sign it, that's all.
Okay,
And then I could email it back to them today. So what they're doing is, instead of having more money towards the end, it's gonna be less money at the end
Yeah,
down here. Cause we spent it was over $60,000 already in two payments.
okay.
And it's supposed to have like 34,000 later on. So.
So we're paying the same amount, we just paid more early.
Right.
Okay,
So now it comes to another part too, because they're gonna keep on going to this is all done and over with.
okay,
And,
you'll be back.
Speedfield Water won't be able to submit any of their funding until the following year.
yeah,
So, I was thinking I could use a chapter 90 for that, and maybe they would reimburse us.
reimburse some of it.
Yeah,
We were looking at using some of the chapter 90 for another project, though, weren't we just talking about using it for,
over here.
Yeah. is
Yeah.
there enough for both?
There is, but I submitted $22,800 for over here, just a portion of it for chapter 90. I just got a phone call from District 1. And they're in the process of the fair share,
Mhm.
funding. They're gonna take that check, they're gonna send a check to the town,
Mhm.
put it into an account. And he wants us to draw off of that for now,
Okay,
okay?
I saw that there was an email about.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
It's, I don't
so
know.
it's different on your end in terms of paperwork.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
accountants have everything they need.
yes, I gave them all the information they need, and
Okay.
they know what to do with them,
Okay,
what account to go into, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So, it's one way. Like, I spoke to legal about, Schoolhouse Hill Road.
mhm,
He said, he gave me like 4 or 5 suggestions of what to do, or
Yeah.
how the town can go about it. He said, he suggested the easiest way to do is just make a meeting with the landowner and go from there.
Who's the landowner, you know?
What's
Carl?
Carl, yes,
Carl Zark?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, he was complaining because he didn't have access off of Niagara Road to get to his property. Boy.
Should be able to
Because
drive.
I thought he had that access through
Yeah.
schoolhouse.
Yeah. We're done off the Guy Brook down the hill.
I talked to him, DJ, I was down there about 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
and I asked him about that, I said, hey, did you have trouble getting down your property? He goes, no, not now. So there's your answer, what he told me, because I asked him personally.
okay.
So I don't know if somebody heard
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody heard through the grapevine or something,
Yeah.
so he was fine with it.
Okay, so he's good now.
Yeah.
So, I talked to Brett about the oil,
Oil, remind me.
used oil we have.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He said that he'll schedule with me
Oh.
during the off hours
Okay,
to, put them down there.
okay, that makes sense. So
Yeah.
then our guys are gonna do the oil changes?
I would prefer, it'd be nice if they would, but the problem is that it takes them all day to do an oil change.
That's.
Yeah.
You're better farming it off.
Yeah. Exactly. That way the guy
They
comes
can be
in.
out working on roads and we pay them out the oil change.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially shorthand.
Okay.
And the guy, like, depending what vehicle he does, he can do probably two a day.
Yeah,
So.
no, Bobby Cabelli, who used to live over on the road.
Yeah.
He has a service down in Westfield.
He actually comes out and he'll suck the oil right out of the trucks and do it on site,
Yeah, yeah,
filters and everything.
Yeah.
So you don't have to spend your time up driving.
Yeah, this company does the same thing.
Yeah.
Come right on
They
out.
come, okay.
okay.
So then you don't need to worry about dumping the oil.
No.
All right,
So once we get rid of this oil, we have no used oil left over, which is nice. Well, we have a little bit, I think, but not as much as we have right
okay.
now. So. And mowing, I started mowing
Oh, I saw you out there the other day.
again,
Okay,
slow process,
yeah,
very slow. Doesn't help me get phone calls and emails and
I don't understand why you don't have a desk in that drive.
I know, I do. I got a pen and I got my phone and I can do text, I can do emails. Just can't pull anything up off my desktop.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Okay,
all right,
I'm not
Cool.
done. I got,
What?
Oh, you got
I
questions?
brought up Russell Road to you, that
Russell.
corner by the retaining wall.
exactly, I know you did.
I went down there today,
Yeah,
this morning, because I had to go down that way. That crack that's in the road.
yeah.
If I was riding a motorcycle and got into that, it's very dangerous.
Mhm.
And we have a lot of motorcycles come up that road. Can we get something to patch that? one
As soon as
section?
I get a police detail, because I can't go down
I
there
know
with
you
three
can't. I
guys.
understand.
Unless
that.
you wanna come out with us?
I certainly will, but the cars won't like me because I'll ticket them all.
Wouldn't bother me a
No,
bit.
so,
no, I just want to get it on the, so we can get it done. I don't mean tomorrow or next week.
Well, it ain't gonna happen until probably a week or so in July.
That's fine. I get that, but I just want on that we get
I
it
know all
done.
about that.
No, I know, but I just like to bring it up because it really bugs the hell out of me because I ride a motorcycle.
I thought you don't write no more.
so did you contact,
Thank you.
police? You're waiting on a detail, is that?
No, I gotta wait until after the fiscal year
Oh, okay, I
Yes.
understand. Okay,
funding.
is it, can we like spray paint it or something?
No,
No,
Oh, no.
don't do that, okay.
it's not too bad in a car, but if a motorcycle ever got into that lane,
Yeah.
it could be
Yeah,
pretty bad.
Where is it?
Right on the corner where the retaining wall is.
Where?
That's
On
upstairs.
Russell Road, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Russell Stage.
I mean,
By the town line.
there we go.
That makes it more easier. Don't it?
That's it, thank you.
Okay.
I'll just keep bugging you on it, because that's me.
Steve.
Oh, I'm not going home.
Okay.
not going anywhere.
Get some snacks.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Snacks. Take some.
Take some home.
Oh, yeah. No, George said he takes them home.
Okay.
He's gonna be.
I need it.
I made it, he made it. We were worried, George. So I've got the contract, Eric Crenshaw. This is the one. Look at this, it's a thing of beauty.
Time, I was just hiding it.
All right, so we've already approved this. I'm gonna sign it. This is just with the amendments for this here, okay? We don't need to vote on it again. And then we have a contract renewal for Novus.
It's not actually a contract renewal, it's just Jackie worked with them and she made some notes on it. It has to be put in contract form.
This is not what I'm looking at. This is lien.
I might have sent that to you. No, I gave you a hard copy, didn't I? Or did I send it in your email? I didn't do anything. It's in a box and it's ready to send it to you in an email and I never sent it.
Okay, that's all right.
No.
Do you wanna explain, Jackie, do you wanna explain
That was a renewal.
the renewal?
Well, it has to go, is there a place to sign?
Yeah, oh, you got something.
Yeah. Sorry, Jackie, I didn't look through the whole thing. I just saw it was their proposal. I didn't realize that there was a place to be signed.
Oh, maybe this,
I just have that.
we have something inside.
Because it's not in contract.
Okay, so if, they're looking for approval though, like
Okay.
online approval.
Mhm.
So if you guys are good with it, I can just send it back and say it's been approved.
All right, so I should have, did they send me an online, a DocuSign?
I don't think so.
No,
No, they don't do.
there's no
DocuSign, I don't
official
think.
contract set up. That's just a quote.
Oh,
So this is,
But I looked at it against last year's
that's
quote.
the amount that it went up.
Yes,
Was
yes,
right.
2%, sorry.
No, it's
Sorry.
very small. It's-
It was 22,
Yeah.
980. Okay, so it went up like 2% overall.
okay, okay. So, is this worked into the budget? Do we know?
It's not a huge increase. I'm pretty sure it is. but I can
Okay.
check.
Okay. So motion to approve the Novus, renewal for $22,980.48 for FY 25, right?
Right.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So if we need something to sign, we can sign, but
Yep.
we do have an approval.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for doing that. All right, so, sorry, I was reading at the same time. Welcome back.
Hello again.
So we have dirt road project stuff. Did you need to project anything to share anything, or
No, because I didn't think it was capable of doing
You're
that, so I
fine.
didn't do a PowerPoint.
you're fine, no worries.
I'm essentially here to just kind of go over what we did
Okay.
and future plans and answer any questions.
Okay,
I apologize about the getting you the stuff late.
no, that's fine. I know that it was here, it was just wasn't in our hands, but I have the zip drive in my computer right now with some of the documents pulled up, if there's anything you want me
I
to.
did meet him in a parking lot in Chicopee, so.
Sounds sketchy.
I
You
had to-
handed over an envelope? Oh my god. You're lucky you didn't get arrested.
Yeah, I had to get the letter of support for the dirt roads phase 2, so,
Oh, okay,
and then I gave him that, so
perfect.
it could end up just in a couple.
I got it, yeah. It's here now.
So this has been a 2-year project, part of the MVP action grant. It included assessment of the unpaved roads in Blandford, as well as community meetings. Last year, there was outreach to the elementary schools. They did the beaver presentations, and then this year, Blandford had the beaver study, which we still don't have yet from Fuss and O'Neill.
Okay,
The deliverables of 2 culverts. Blandford's culverts were. Oh, no, that's not right.
is it the Shepherd Road?
Shepherd Road.
Yep, Gibbs Road,
Yeah.
Gibbs Road and Shepherd Road.
Got it.
Yep.
Let's just-
So,
Just the two, it looks like there was a replacement, oh, replacement needed, it says, Blair.
are you looking at the report or the
I
one
was
that
looking at
says?
table 1, existing unpaved roads in Blandford, yeah, I'm looking at the report.
Okay, this is the task 15 culvert concepts
Okay,
that our consultant did, so they, basically, for both of them, 3-sided open box culvert, 13 feet on one.
this is tiny letters, this is hard to read, okay, there we go.
12 feet on the other, so. Essentially, they're both small bridges and you're looking at. 770,000 for Gibbs Road. And yeah,
That's a different price than I got.
7,000. Oh, $9,500 for Shepherd Road. Based off Fuss and O'Neill's analysis and concept design.
Okay.
You said how much? 900 what?
9,750 for the second one, and the first one was
Nine,
700.
950,000 and
Oh.
7,
955.
yeah, almost
Yeah.
$1 million
Yes.
For culvert.
for one culvert.
Still on the goal.
Okay, so 770,000 for Gibbs and 950,000 for Shepherd.
Yep,
What?
Yeah, I remember, and I was, why, when you said no, I said, well, something doesn't sound right here.
That's insane.
No, that's
it's because of the cost of the design and the permitting. They all go from culverts to small bridges, so you have to get 401 water quality certification through DEP. 404 Army Corps, construction general permit, Mass DOT chapter 85 permit because it's a small bridge.
How do they expect small towns to afford these things?
can't.
It baffles me.
We can't afford that.
Are there any grants for it?
There are culvert replacement grants and MVP action grants can both be used for it.
How much are they?
The culvert grant won't go this high.
So it doesn't even cover one.
You might be able to get an MVP grant. Or the other option is, depending on what kind of records you have, to go for a FEMA brick grant or hazard mitigation grant.
Okay.
DER?
Yeah, that's the one I said, but it doesn't go that high.
Do we have to put in a small bridge? We can't just put in a bigger round culvert?
Not to meet the mass stream crossing standards, you can't. It has to span 1.2 times bank full width.
If nothing is done, what happens?
Nothing.
Well, technically, if nothing's done and the culvert blows out, then you could ask Conservation Commission for an emergency permit to replace it.
That sounds good.
No. Yeah, cause you're talking $1.8 million to do these two.
Yeah, and that's only two.
How many hundreds do we need? No, I'm sarcastic, but
No, wow.
It's baffling.
it's actually ridiculous.
It's the cost of concrete, it's the cost of labor, police details, all the stuff that's involved.
Yeah.
We can have the beavers watch on Gibbs Road. That can be our.
I don't have the beaver study yet, again, I
No, I-
apologize for
It's
that.
not your fault. Someone's doing it.
Okay.
So then other deliverables this year. Was a standard operating procedure for dirt roads. I don't think the newest one's on your disc, I think you only have the inspection schedule and the maintenance checklist. But we finally did get the BMPs from Fuss and O'Neill's, O'Neill for dirt roads. So they have 5 different best management practices to help with erosion. One of them is ditches or swales to sediment traps, so vegetated swales to piles of rocks to stop the water flow velocity. Another option is they did a French mattress and an under drain. So with a French mattress, you'd essentially like find an area of road that significantly erodes
Mhm.
and take a chunk of it out And then fill it with crushed stone on the bottom, 6 inch. And then sub base. And then either a geotextile fabric on top. And then a smaller 1/2 inch. And then some stone dust. And then stabilize it, roll it.
That fabric's not cheap either,
Nah, the geotextile grids aren't that cheap.
no.
Yes, George?
Is Old Chester Road considered a dirt road?
Yeah,
Yes.
If it is, what do they say needs to be done with Old Chester Road? What's?
Hold on, I'll get
Hold on,
there.
yeah, she's getting through the deliverables.
And then they went over different ways to crown. They originally were looking at, your traditional nature-based solutions, which is green infrastructures, which are like bioswales and rain gardens. Those don't work on dirt roads. The number one thing that causes them to fail is fines. And the number one thing that washes off of dirt roads is fines. And even in the summer, if you're in a drought, the dust is the fine, and that ends up in the waterways. So they went, even though they called it nature-based solutions, I worked with them and they're all. They're not your typical nature-based, so I'm gonna address that in the recommendation reports. Cause there's no way to do it, you just gotta use rocks.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a section about crowning and then, plunge pools, so if you have steep slope. You could do plunge pools on the side, but a major limiting factor is knowing the right of way of the road. And if you can even fit some of these in it. So it's better to try to go with the things that are in the road, like crowning it differently, using different types of aggregate, spending a little more money on washed stone, and getting away from like your Quarry River Rock stuff and buying specific like crushed gravel at certain diameters and then layering it. And yeah, the last one, broad-based dips, so they're for areas where you have dips in the road and how to get the water away from there that are often associated with streams, so.
So did they, recommend like which roads need which of these interventions?
So our report did,
I see like a rating scale for each one.
if you're looking at that, you would want to go to page 11.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
George, what was your question?
My
Old
question
Chester.
was, if Old Chester Road
Yes.
is considered a dirt road,
Oh, I
It
see.
what are the
Okay.
recommendations for it?
Adding new gravel,
That's all?
yep,
that ain't gonna last.
That's what most of them are, George.
Adding more gravel to it, it's only gonna wash down. We need drainage ditches, and then at the bottom where you get by the, electric lines there's gonna have to be a culvert so that the, water that comes down the hill on the banking gets across the road. Right now, water makes its own path, so you know where to put the culvert.
yeah.
All right, and as far as those drop basins go, they have to be well away from the edge of the road.
And we got a little problem coming up with Old Chester Road. Somebody that owns property there is gonna build a house and live there year round. So that road's gonna have to be plowed and maintained.
Well, that section of the road is fine where they at.
Okay, well, so you're not gonna leave.
It's down farther, that's the problem.
I didn't know where the property was, but
The biggest problem with that road is that Springfield water is on one side. And you guys be very careful what you do over there. And yeah, it needs to be rebuilt drainage, big time, you know? The culvert pipes are in the wrong direction, they should be going diagonally across the road, not straight across the road. So the water can actually go into the pipe instead of deadheading and then going into the pipe. There's a lot of, millings and material all the way up and down that road. That, like I said, once the water gets a spot, it just goes with it.
You can't really get through now, right? I mean, I.
No.
have to go down.
Well, you can if you're.
That's where you drive. And I don't even think put a four-wheel drive, somebody told me the other day.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, well, I haven't been out there, so I can't, but if somebody said they couldn't hardly get through there with a four-wheel drive.
So I just started at PVPC last year.
Mhm.
I didn't write this grant. If I did, I would have wrote it very differently.
Mhm.
Rewrite it then.
I did for phase two, okay, and that's for $2.8 million instead of 300,000. I did work with the towns to change several of the deliverables in tax 16, which was a regulatory review.
Mhm.
Going through your bylaws and codes of where to implement green infrastructure for like your subdivisions and. Exactly, so we changed that to do a bundled notice of intent.
Mhm.
For Dave and for conservation that we're working through. The standard operating procedures that has now been updated and has troubleshooting. So like if a culvert's clogged, what do you do? If this area is constantly washing out, what do you do? And it has recommendations for specific aggregates, stone to use.
Okay.
Um,
Will you help me understand the prioritization score? Is it the higher the score, then the more priority the road has? Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay, so our highest priority road is, Schoolhouse, second division. So the road is Schoolhouse from second division to Russell Road, right?
Yes.
Cause that has a 45, okay. And then the next two would be Hayden
in Virgil Lloyd.
and Virgil Lloyd.
Is that based on traffic or how is the priority set?
It looks like it's taking the criticality score and the sensitivity score and adding them together, so.
So we basically took what BSC group did in 2011 or not, sorry, 21, I think. For Sheffield and two other towns. And used the same exact thing. Used their methodology. So sensitivity looked at intersections and trench roads, which means the road is lower than the sides.
Real was.
Adjacent to steep slopes. Tree canopy, the number of culverts. The grading and the slope of the road, if it's in a floodplain, the stability of the slopes, the crown, proximity to wetlands. So all that gave you your sensitivity score. And then the criticality score, I believe, was based on cost of repairs. Maintenance costs, community access, impact to public health and safety, and impact on local economy. The one major thing our assessment is missing is all of the ecological stuff and the impacts to the cold water fisheries and the streams and management of invasive species and how to holistically approach it all in one sort of method. So that's where we joined Pioneer Valley with Berkshire Regional and FERCog, Franklin Council,
Mhm.
and applied for this 2.8 million unpaved road phase 2.
Okay.
Middlefield is having a section of road designed and engineered that literally goes straight through a wetland. And it's very complicated and it's gonna have to be raised, and that's gonna be a test site. So we're working with BSC Group now and not Fuss O'Neill.
Okay.
Should have probably worked with BSC Group to begin with. I don't know why, because they're the ones whose methodology we adopted. But we're working with them moving on.
Okay.
And FERCog has their own manual that is very specific to the ecological problems in cold water fisheries. And they've developed an assessment method that can be done in-house by the BPW directors. So Blandford signed up for that.
Mhm.
So year one, me and Dave will go out and I'll help him do the assessment on like 1 or 2 or 3 roads. And then he can try it himself on another 2 and we'll pick the highest ranking.
Mhm.
And from there, we'll go to year 2, where the grant provides all the materials for the town to install. One thing is right size drainage culverts. So that will be looked at.
Mhm.
So we have money for culverts. Right type aggregate, so there's money for aggregates. So the materials, there's money for materials, so it's supposed to be so the town can do it themselves and reduce costs and also be a test site.
So
other
just for
people-
one road. We can do ours, we'll get materials and culverts for one of our roads, or are you saying for,
For all
no?
Not all,
Yep, George, go ahead.
What concerns me is the timetable. I saw the priority list in terms of the roads that need attention. In terms of your coalescing with Dave, in terms of saying, okay, we agree, that Dave agrees, you agree on which roads need the attention. How can you work with the town, Dave, to develop a timetable and look at the materials and the availability of money to make these things happen in an orderly way? It seems to me that, you know, if you have priority 1, you'd want to get to it soon, but if materials aren't going to be available for 2 or 3 years to deal with that, then you have to say, well, maybe we can do priority number 3 because we have the wherewithal to do that without the prior materials. I see there's this disjointed situation here where there needs to be some sound priority planning and on the basis of resources available now and available next year and the following year and the following year. And have a 3-year plan to say which priorities we're gonna address when because of the availability of resources.
I think it's more waiting for the grant, isn't it?
yeah,
If you're not waiting for materials, you can get that any day you want, pretty much. George, the
but
stones,
phase
the
2
rocks.
of the grant will reprioritize the priorities by combining the methods, so to speak, taking what BSC Group did and FERCog did, the one that's supposed to be done. So Blandford will only do the FERCog field assessment, which is like 8 pages and addresses invasives, like I said, in areas of erosion directly into streams. And then some other towns, for instance, Goshen joined up. Goshen's gonna do a full-blown assessment. That's gonna be a combined assessment of what we did here with FERCog to get a much more holistic picture.
But-
And that will probably reprioritize the priorities.
You lost me.
So that might change the roads,
Yeah,
okay.
well, definitely, cause it starts with doing a sort of GIS overlay of what runs closest to like cold water fisheries or main tributaries
Mhm.
to the Westfield.
Mhm.
And then that GIS desktop analysis will be compared to our prioritization chart.
Mhm.
And then we'll pick 5 to 8 to do further assessment
Mhm.
using the BMP that FERCog designed, which is specifically for cold water fisheries. And from that combination, the list will may shift and you might find other roads.
Mhm.
More priority.
Yeah.
at it. It's-
Go ahead, George.
I feel that this whole thing is chaotic. And I don't feel that there's a bonding between the Pioneer Valley and the town, Dave, in terms of coming up with a rational plan and an orderly way to proceed. Everything seems to be mishmash out there and may or may not happen. For me, I would be, if I was in Dave's position, I'd be worried that I put a culvert in and next year find out that it could have been paid for by grant number 7 instead of this and that, and not have any plan to do it because he put spent town money putting the culvert in this year. I see that there's tremendous lack of coordination between Pioneer Valley and the town. And, frankly, I don't care what's happening in other towns. You can have all the studies in the world for them, it doesn't help us. But if you say, yeah, we're committed to meeting with Dave twice a month and looking at the priorities and seeing it through the next 3 years, then it makes a lot of sense. But it's just marshmallows out there at this point, as far as I'm concerned.
Dave, do I not, I've even come and hung out in your trailer, all right? Like, so you can't say there's no coordination. I talk to Dave once or twice a month.
Okay.
I come to his trailer and hang out with him and talk about
Got
stuff.
a trail in the woods somewhere, Dave? Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
I don't know what you call it, the DPW without an air conditioner that I profusely sweat in.
Yeah.
That's so you won't stay too long. Keep the house down.
So there is a commitment then to work on an ongoing basis with the
Oh,
town.
yeah, I mean, I've
step by
gone out
step.
of my way to help Dave on other grants, doing the RMAT tool with him, teaching him how to use it, like,
Okay,
I,
I feel better that, hearing that, because up until you saying that, it seemed very disjointed and.
I mean, I'm a boots on the ground girl. There's also a huge part of this that will do a full-blown culvert assessment for the town using the new condition assessment. That's not the old assessment that Wild and Scenic Rivers did. That's like, oh, is this culvert big enough for salamanders and turtles to go through? This is one that was designed specifically for DPWs, highway supers, to look at culverts and be like, how eroded is it? How old is it? Like, is this corrugated metal pipe breaking at the seams? How many seams is it breaking at? Like, so it has that. And Scott Jackson from UMass, who is developed the assessment and is the state's like cold water fisheries expert, is gonna be doing trainings with towns as well and coming out to look at culverts.
Mary?
Yeah, Angela, you just mentioned, is this culvert gonna be big enough for a turtle to go through? Do we have the information on wildlife? That we're gonna have turtles or fox or bunny rabbits or whatever can use the culvert for getting over the other side of the road, beavers? Was that part of the ecological study that you say we're missing?
Yeah, that would be part, exactly.
Okay. And so that's something, do we have to do that? We need
That
to know that?
hopefully we get this second grant and then we can do it, because it's part of it.
Thank you.
So, of the grant money that you got now, that's summation of everything that you found is in that pamphlet you have.
This is the summation of PVPC's transportation department's work using the BSC group assessment,
Okay, and they actually came out and
drove the roads and stuff.
drove the roads and that?
Yep.
Because some of the roads that are mentioned, there's no houses on. And, we have a crew of 2 and the superintendent. And we're short 2 people as it is. And the way the work is compiling, I'm wondering how is our highway department gonna have to work with all this and then do their regular maintaining as it is. I mean, you're only talking 5 people.
And that's why we're hoping with the new, that we get the phase 2 grant. And get all the materials that we can provide. And BSC Group is gonna come out and work with Dave to show him and the staff how to install cheap, cost-effective measures to stop rutting, washboarding, erosion into streams.
Hopefully we'll have more employees at that point, you know, we're still working on it.
And then the culvert assessment will be done in conjunction with Westfield Wild and Scenic Rivers and UMass Acres. So we'll get, if we get it, we already have like 3 interns on board to do it, so.
The way I see it, we're juggling environmental and the needs of the population and conservation, and we've got this whole thing coming together. And I'm lost. You just, you know, got too many angles coming in here.
Because I think there's a lot of things to consider, I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it is, I agree, but, this is phase 1 and we're waiting for
The
phase
planning,
2.
Which will be
And so-
implementation.
So phase 1 was more the research.
Yeah,
Phase
it's
two, yeah,
the,
that
it's
makes
the
sense.
research of it,
Mhm.
and, so phase 1 should tell me how much material I'm gonna be needing. What, you know, a timeline for doing the work
I don't think that
in
was
phase 2.
necessarily part of the.
Yeah, that
scope
wasn't
and
part of
sequence
phase
for-
1.
Yeah,
And neither was the ecological stuff, so when I'm writing my recommendation and review, there's like a problems section, what
So-
problems did we run?
So what you're telling me, phase 1 is the planning part.
phase 1, I think, was more assessing those 2 needs, right, the criticality and the, what's the other one?
So phase 1 is lining up all the problems that we're confronted with.
Yeah, the sensitivity,
And-
so
and
they were
like-
taking all those things into
Yeah.
account, yeah, and
Okay,
so
then
there.
going into phase 2, all right, we're gonna be starting to line up the materials and everything that we need, so phase 1 has decided what materials we're gonna need for phase 2, or is phase 2 gonna be deciding what materials?
Phase 2, year 1 is gonna decide. Well, we already kinda know what materials we're gonna need.
I think based on what the
Culverts,
recommended repair, yeah,
Plastic corrugated culverts, approximately 24 inches in diameter, give or take. It could be 18, it could be a 30, depends on the road.
Talking corrugated metal or
No,
the plastic?
the plastic.
Okay, the
with the-
PCV, yeah, okay.
So that's the right size drainage part of year 1. If we get the second,
when will you know?
hopefully. Beginning mid-July.
And you'll let us know.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like 3 of the recommended repairs were grading. And Dave, is, someone coming in to do the training? Did we determine that for grading? For the grader?
I haven't found anybody yet.
Where you, TJ had someone.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll get them in contact with you.
all right.
Yeah.
It looks like, Gibbs Road from Otis Stage, 2.3 miles. Hall Road from unnamed road to Beach Hill. and, Hiram Blair from Osage to the end. All three were recommended, that needed the grading. So I would imagine if it says grading, they don't need the gravel as well, they just need to be graded. Is that the case?
There's some they need, stone or gravel.
Yeah.
I can read it more in depth too, I was just sort of thinking that those are some things that, since we have the grader and we're working on training, that would be a good spot. Jackie?
I don't know
Oh,
how-
Even if you have, you know, let's say those three, right, for grade, you still gotta include, maybe you guys have already talked about this, that is still include the manpower that it's gonna take on it,
Mhm,
because otherwise you don't see the costs. Right?
yeah,
And if Dave's already tapped to. If he's already tapped with just keeping up, right, we gotta make sure that if we have to outsource or if we have to, you know, hire or whatever, what's that cost?
yeah,
Do you guys figure that piece out or no?
So going with the FERCog. They're, similar but very different recommendation report. They're designing it so it can be done by the town, so. In retrospect, it would probably, I mean, Middlefield, like. 0.4 mile section of engineered full depth reconstruction. Is close to 400,000. And then when you throw the culvert in. If we can get away with it, because it's technically a wetland culvert. Or wetland crossing, and doing like 3 or 4 smaller culverts. Then determining the existing stream that's a braided channel, so it's like, woo,
that's tricky,
yeah. But that project right there is like 400 grand to do,
yeah.
not even a half mile of
That's
road.
inclusive of manpower?
Yep, and engineering and design and materials.
No, is that, they're gonna do that themselves,
That's part of phase 2.
but town and Millfield's gonna do it
The
themselves?
work
The work
themselves,
itself, or is it gonna be subbed out?
It's probably gonna be subbed out.
Okay.
yeah, it's a big one. George, yeah,
Do we focus on Blanford a little bit and talk about, for instance, Old Chester Road?
she's just giving us an
Is that-
example.
Is that on the last Old Chester Road?
Yes.
Yes, Old Chester is on,
Where is it, what number?
Old Chester Road is. Let's see,
It just needs,
it comes in at a number 33, which, is that, so the highest number is 45.
so that's relatively low,
Yeah,
because the lowest is a 31.
Yeah,
You also remember that this process was done over a year ago.
so things shift and.
Oh,
Yeah.
big time.
So that's what Angela was saying, was that when they come back in and add those other two, assessments, and that it may shift again.
so where does it come for Dave, for instance, to set the priorities? He travels the roads, he looks at it, and he comes back to his office and says, you know, we gotta do something about this road now, we gotta do something about that road tomorrow, and sets his priorities. Now, is he bound to say the priorities that Pioneer Valley came up with?
Not at the moment, but I
Or
think
does he
that,
make the decision where the money's gonna be spent to maintain the roads here?
not at the moment, I think that maybe it sounds like in year 2 of the next phase, he'll be more bound to, what they've been meeting monthly about, to talk about, and committing to those roads once they're supplying materials and whatnot.
So Dave still can make the decisions about the local roads today and
Of
tomorrow,
course.
what he does with his
Yes,
group.
Steve can make the decisions about the local roads as long as he's the highway superintendent. He can take this report and shove it on a shelf and never look at it if he wants. I mean, that's the
No.
reality of it.
That's what's.
I'm thinking what George is getting at, if we're gonna be putting money into these roads, And some of the roads need to have money put them in this year. All right, and then going further down in a couple of years, PVC comes in and says, well, you know, you guys wasted a lot of money doing this. What we're trying to figure out is how much money are we gonna invest in these roads this year so that they're passable for the next couple of years until all this comes together. I mean, you know,
But that, so
small
that's not,
towns don't have trees to grow money.
but, so I think that, so Angela's here reporting on the work that has been done and letting us know what work is coming up next, right? Like any of those decisions, obviously, there's still, the roads are constantly changing with the weather. That's something that Dave is gonna have to, make a decision on. Angela's not gonna, answer all of our questions. in terms
Well,
of,
no,
like, what
it's
needs to be
just,
done and how much
it's
it's gonna
just
cost.
that I don't wanna waste a lot of money fixing the road if we're not gonna fix it to the standard that we're gonna be looking at.
We don't even know what that
Yeah,
standard
well,
is,
that's
TJ,
it.
but if whatever you put in there for stone and dirt or whatever,
Yeah.
it's gonna be there, they can reuse it, it's gonna make less that they need that.
Well, like,
In most cases,
yeah, well, yeah, in most
so
cases.
you spend it, it'll be there. That's my personal opinion.
Getting back to Old Chester Road, is there a plan from
Not at
PV?
this time, George.
Okay, so they aren't specifying what kind of gravel to use or what kind of planting or metal culverts or anything else on Old
Nope.
Chester Road. It's totally up to Dave to figure Old Chester Road out. for
Yep.
30.
Well, if you go to the standard operating procedure document that's now complete, it does talk about the types of stone that should be used.
So Dave should adopt that as his tool to do the work. He should follow the
Dave
guidelines.
can reference that as.
Yeah, we can reference it, yeah.
Cause it's a standard operating procedure for gravel road maintenance.
Okay, so.
And it addresses several factors.
So that justifies his expenditure of his resources and his budget. If it calls for using XYZ stone, and that's $20 more a ton than what he might have used otherwise, he'll use the more expensive stuff. because
Sure,
it's
you can
part of
use
the
that.
design.
He can use that as reference when he goes to finance committee
Right.
or, yeah.
Okay, so if he, assuming he's adopting that now because it's in the report, that's how he does the work.
That's what he would.
So it's not in this report, it's a separate deliverable.
But he has it.
Yeah, Dave, you have that?
I can resend it.
Yes, Mary?
That'll be online.
The whole thing is so much. The basic, like this report, we can put that online, I guess.
This is what it is.
So the specific composition of the soil materials used in gravel road construction makes a big difference in terms of performance and durability. Good materials should contain portions of different types of soil material. We don't
Is that
want to
a
call
man-
it dirt.
Is that in the form of a manual for highway department superintendents to use?
Yes, it's 8 pages.
Okay, so.
I don't think you have it because I was waiting on the Fuss and O'Neill deliverable to fix it up.
But you can get that to Dave so that he knows what to spend his money on.
So be sure to buy crushed gravel rather than bank run
No,
gravel.
I'm asking you if you have that guideline report to give to Dave so he can. open the
Yes, she
page.
said
Yes.
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 Yes, but I'm just explaining, answering your question about the
Making
gravel
me crazy, George.
types. So it goes into the road base material. It needs to be strong and free draining. You wanna have at least 3 inch in size, but no greater than 6 inch. And you wanna have no fines. You wanna make sure it's washed. So you're spending extra money for the base
Your
material.
processed gravel. is what you
Yeah.
want.
Right.
For washed
Yeah.
gravel, not river run.
Okay, the bank run.
Bank run, yeah, which you see on a lot of roads, which is just dirt and random stones that looks like he went to the beach and threw a pile.
Don't use round stones.
No, but you have what you.
Then it goes over crowning and grading.
How soon can Dave get that?
She just said I'm resending it today.
I will literally email it to Dave right this second.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It addresses ditches. It addresses drainage culvert, and then it has a whole troubleshooting section. And I tried to summarize it as best I could to 8 pages, so. If you have lake erosion running straight down the road. There's a troubleshooting for that, washboarding, tire running, mud. Dust, loose gravel. Erosion going this way, potholes.
Got it all.
Culverts that overflow,
Bingo.
crushed culverts. The road erodes around the culvert. The culvert is eroding around the ends. The culvert fills with dirt. The bottom of the ditches, then it goes into ditches. The ditch is eroding. The sides of the ditch are eroding. The crown of the road creates ponding in the ditch. And then it has a maintenance schedule, so when do we wanna look at the roadway itself? The slopes, the ditches and the culverts, and then any outlet or stream buffer. And then you would, and by keeping track and using just these 2 simple forms at the end,
Mhm.
stick them in a binder, if you go for a FEMA grant. This will get you your benefit cost analysis of 1, which is problematic for many small towns to get because of the lack of record keeping. But if you start doing this and keeping track of how many
So
times
I'm
a
just,
year.
is that on my zip drive?
No, this one is not, cause this, you only have the,
Is it stuff that you can go ahead and email? If you don't need to put on another zip drive?
no, it's only an 8-page document.
Okay, I'm just thinking for the future TA for Christina to have, just so that she can, file it, if you can, send it to administrator. Yes, Mary?
You want to bear in mind for record keeping, any documents that are read and referenced at a public forum
Mhm.
have to be available to.
They're,
the
yeah,
public.
they're a bit, they're,
Okay, so they'll be online.
sure. We can, not all of the stuff on the zip drive, but just the regular report, we can
Yeah,
send.
the final wrap up of this stuff.
They're also
Administrator
available
at
at town
town of
hall.
Blandford.
for some
Yeah.
requirements.
Alright, Dave, you're getting it, and George, I'm gonna copy you so you
Thank
can
you.
have a copy to add to your binder.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Moving right along.
All right, that's it. We are open to, enjoying fresh snacks. Lots of sugar. Call it, please. Meeting is adjourned at 6:56. Thank you for your report, Angela.
You're very welcome.
Thank
And
you.
this was a double.
Didn't
whammy
mean to give you a
because
hard time, but we did.
My son broke his switch and I was trying to find one online and there was one for sale in Blandford for $60.
Did you find it?
I did, I was
I
like,
went
"Look,
back
can
to
you
one
meet
for
me at
30.
the?"
But cut wood, they make a switch like. we do. That's it.
I did, and she met me in the parking lot and I did my illicit switch deal.
Nice.
Cool.
It's like double score.
Joanne, I think I need to notarize.
Which one's yours?
I need someone to notarize this. Mary, is Doris here?
I can fetch your pen.
I do need to notarize this for PVPC, if she's still here. All right, I'm taking this out, I'm gonna put it here, I'm gonna leave it on the TA's desk. Okay, we have a new TA we just hired last week, she's fantastic.
Excellent.
That's my.
And that was the reason I raised my hand. I'm sure that
Ah,
a major
man,
part
I would have
of
just
these
done it. Yeah, hold on, let me
looks
make
like
it
it's
up.
disorganized. She's not disorganized. We are, because we haven't had a TA since January 1st.
Exactly.
If we had had a proper TA since January 1st, George Reichert,
What?
all of this would look much more organized.
Yeah.
You gotta be patient and wait for that TA to get in here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know, I apologize, cause they would have had it middle of April, had Mike given you the flash drive